Right. What's good, guys? How's it going? Let me I'll give you the link to the stream now. We're just finishing up the private stream. Just sending them the link now to join the actual one. Right. For you guys in the private stream, there's the link to the proper stream. I'll see you all there. Peace. What's good, guys? How's it going? We just finished up the pre-New York stream. How's everyone doing? Just let me make an announcement saying that we are live and good to go. Right, we are back. Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Terry, Bilk, 2XM, you giving out signals? Nah bro, this is not the place for signals, so if that's what you want, I'd just recommend leaving. There's no point in that. I do take trades in front of you, but I don't explicitly go, this is a signal, buy now and sell later, right? Whatever. I do not give out signals. Hey Janice, Dan, Roland, Pietro, Bilk, Elizabeth, how you all doing? How is everyone doing? Hey Payne, how's it going? Rodrigo, nice to see you here. Like up the stream, guys. Like up the stream if you haven't already. Hey Dave. So today, obviously, before we get started, is a no trade day. So I'm definitely not going to be taking any trades, right? Hey Mike. But we might see something. So this is the way it's going to go. I'm not going to personally take any trades, but if you want to take trades today, you can. I don't recommend it though. So what we're going to do is we're still going to look for our setups. We're still going to look for the trades that we might be taking, right? But instead of taking them, we'll just shadow trade them, okay? And all that means is, let's say there was a sell opportunity right now, yeah? We entered for a sell position right now. We haven't actually entered the trade. We're just placing this down to see how the trade would have gone, okay? That's the whole idea here, because today is not a tradable day. So none of the trades we take, hypothetically, by just placing this down instead of actually taking them on our phone, right? The ones we hypothetically take will not be going in this journal because they're not going to be actual trades that we're taking, okay? So you can take them if you want to. It's going to be a little bit more risky because there is no red folder news. But as I said, I still want to be going live. I still want to be talking to you guys because I enjoy doing this. So what we're going to do, instead of actually not trading at all, we're going to look for trades still. And what this can do, this can confirm my understanding, because we can take an A+ setup on here, but it might not play out because of the lack of news, because of that lack of volatility, the lack of direction, right? The lack of conviction. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for setups. If we see one that we like, we will take it hypothetically, and you guys can take that as well if you want to, but I'm not going to be taking it, okay? Just to clarify, this stream it's a no trade day today, so we're not going to be manually placing any trades. We're going to hypothetically take the trades based on what if the opportunity presents itself, right? So yeah, just markups exactly, Payne. I have a 50k account. I am happy to full send for fun. USD Swiss franc looking good. Let's have a look. Nice. Looks like we're trying to reverse and also validate this. If we can validate this fair value gap first, that's a beautiful setup there. Euro USD, I think we were looking here as well. So on EU, we are looking at potential setup. Basically with this, looking to inverse the fair value gap here, or inverse it on the 1 hour. Something like that, right? Hey Giovanni, how's it going? So, tell you what, let's do this instead. Bit of a better structure here. Let's just start on GJ. I'll show you what we were discussing in the private streams, and then we'll just kind of make our way down through all these pairs and see what's going on. So the first thing we're looking at, another little update as well. You know, because of the daily market outlooks I do, we can get to just see how they play out. Because sometimes, because I'm doing a few more pairs as well now, I'll kind of forget which ones I've already looked at. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting the bias up here. This left-hand side where you can see bearish, then bullish. That's the bias that I said yesterday in yesterday's market outlook, which I do completely for free on YouTube every single day, right? So yesterday I said bearish, then bullish on the 4 hour. And that's exactly what happened. We had a bearish move down, then we had a bullish push up. Bearish, then bullish, right? Now for setups, what we're looking for is an IFVG. We've had a bit of a slow price action here, although it's starting to speed up a little tiny bit. If we get a quick push, an IFVG like this, we could enter something there. I think we might have got something like that on the 5 minute right here. But I can't see any IFVGs at the moment. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. In sales at the moment with GPY. There is a tiny fair value gap here, I guess you could say was inversed. Nice. Yeah, so if we were going to take this, right, let's just mark this up, right? So let's say we took this trade, which is a valid entry, apart from the fact it's no news day. The target would be down here, I think, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? Because it stuck out these highs. Now, I don't think we'll get a full TP like that. I think that's a bit of a reach. We could target these just these 1 hour lows instead. I think that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, we would be in a trade like this, for example. So you could take this now if you want to. It's a little bit risky because we've already took the liquidity. But this would be a trade I would take, right? Maybe the fair value gap is a little bit too small. But we've got the AMD here. It may go against the bias as well. With this still being bullish. This is bearish. This is bearish. So I guess you could say short term we are bearish, which makes sense for it to get a little bit of a move down. So what we can do is we can mark this up, right? Like we have done here. This would be the trade. Okay. And you can take this if you want to, right? I'm not going to be taking this manually because it's a no trade day for me. But you can take this if you want to. There's liquidity here, which we're going to use to kind of move to break even and take partials or something. But I think these 1 hour lows are definitely going to be the full TP target right here. So we'd get something like this, move to break even, close half of that, right? Or maybe we can do it on these liquidity points right here. But I think we're also coming back to our entry now. If you guys want to actually enter this, I'm not going to be taking it though. The reason for that is because it's a no trade day. We're just going to consolidate, right? But nevertheless, let's pretend like we are taking this, right? Full disclosure for anyone who's just joined, we're not actually taking trades today. It's a no trade day. I'm not going to be manually taking any of these trades that we talk about because it's a no trade day for me. But we're still going to be just marking up the charts, you know, shadow trading. The reason we're not trading today is because there's no red folder news. There's no red folder news. And historically, on days, especially Mondays, when we have no red folder news, we just go sideways. This translates through like NQ and everything, right? Now we have had a bit of a push here, but typically we just kind of go sideways, which we have been doing all morning. you know, and on gold, just everything basically until the past like 30 minutes. So there's no real direction or conviction in the market's direction, okay? That's why I don't trade. But if I was trading, we could take something like this. So we're in this trade, hypothetically, right? Stop loss is up here, above this high. If we invest this fair value gap that we formed, we will then come up and take out this high, which gives it a bit of breathing room. It's took out this liquidity already, so it does kind of need to retrace. And if we zoom in deeper into this, you can see there is a fair value gap right here that we can come back and try and respect, right? So we would have got in here, then we took this liquidity and managed the trade or something like that, right? And let's journal this, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new sheet in, just called like markups or something, right? Shadow trading, and then just copy and paste this journal through. Oh. Right. We go 14th of April, 2025. What's this? GBP JPY. Bias is bullish. It's kind of mixed, I guess. Yeah, I tapped into that imbalance now. It is quite mixed. More recently, it's bearish though. The sell, 2.37. Right, and all we need to do is throw this into here, right? This is not a real trade. I'm not actually in this. But if I was trading today, this would be a trade I would take. There we go. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like up the stream if you haven't already, guys. So the idea would be, right? The idea would be we would manage the trade here by adjusting our stop loss maybe to this high if that's what we leave behind. Or we take partials and do that, right? I just made 300 on a 50k account. Cheers. No worries, Tony. All right, Louis, how's it going? So, with this, you can see how it's played out, right? And what it means, and we can break it down step by step, really. If we start off with this, go to a fresh pair, I guess. We start off with this imbalance right here, which is a bit bigger on this broker. We invest this, then we take out this low, right? On the way to take that low, we leave behind an imbalance, which we come back into and respect, right? It's literally simple ERL and IRL. We just took the low out again, so we may get a retracement on the 1 minute, which would be back up to here. That's just how it plays out. Are you in? I am not in. Remember, guys, this is just like the hypothetical kind of trade in here. if I see an entry that I would usually take, I'll place this chart down, as I said, but I'm not actually going to be taking any of these trades. Okay, and the reason for that is the lack of red folder news. It's a no trade day, as Louis just said. It is pretty boring, but you got to stick with it. Because if we lost this trade, we'd know exactly why. You know what I mean? But what we can do is we can kind of just, I can still show you guys an entry that I would look at taking and what an entry would look like. So you guys can still learn exactly how to trade, right? Now on EU as well. So we're in that GJ trade, right? On EU, we're trying to validate this fair value gap. If we can validate this, whilst also kind of just consolidating a little bit, which we haven't really been doing, to be fair. Then when we tap into this again, we can then use it as like an AMD IFG. What is your average risk? My average, since I started this, it's probably about 0.75. But ever since here, we've been risking literally 1% per trade, right? Before that, we were risking 0.5%, 1%. Now I just decided it's going to be a proper. Here we even risked 2%, but from then on, like this area, where were we? Like here, I decided I'm going to risk 1% per trade so we can make more money, and we'd lose more on a loss, but we'll make more on a win, which has paid off since then. Since we made that decision, we've made 6% or 5.6%. I guess we can just focus on this then. We have obviously took that low out. Did we retrace then? Was that what we've just seen there? Yeah, we've retraced back into this for the leg up right here, which needed to happen. If we inverse it, we'll come up and take out these highs. If we close inside it, like we kind of have just done then, we'll then continue back down, take out the lows again, and just make a lower low. So that's GJ. That's the GJ out the way, right? If we check GU, EU, nothing here really. USD Swiss franc. Ping pong trading. Bitcoin, nothing here. Gold, nothing here. Nothing here. I guess we'll just watch how this plays out then. I think that's pretty much what we'll do. Unless anyone's got any setups or pairs they want me to specifically analyze. If you do, ask me. Why not? Like, we've got the time. Definitely got the time. So, if we're going to manage this, right, what we can kind of confirm here is that we'll probably leave behind a high right here. So we could put stops to here, or if we form an imbalance on the way down to take this low out, if we form a fair value gap, we can then move to break even, because we know then if we inverse this, we'd look at taking out this high. So that's probably the way we're going to manage this. Is if we can push down and form an imbalance, we can move to break even here, and then what we could do is either close half, close the majority, like 75%, and then let the rest run, or not touch it at all. USD JPY, not much here really. Maybe on like the 30-minute or the 1 hour, but other than that, we've had pretty big moves up and down here. Plus there's these fair value gaps. If we close below here, we could take that. We could set an alert here. If we close below this candle or the next one, then we could look at taking that trade, because that'll give us like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. That's probably a decent setup. Took out these highs as well. IFEG. Then we could trade that. Where would the trade go though? Because this is a pretty big stop loss. I would have to target these lows all the way down here just for a 1.6 as well. Not really worth it there. GJ looks like it's kind of just chilling again. See, this is what I mean. There's a lack of conviction in the markets. Like, we haven't actually had a consistent move yet. You know, we're kind of assuming we'd get that now, you know, after having that accumulation, manipulation stuff, but we haven't had a consistent move yet. And that's the issue with trading no red folder days, is we don't actually get that consistent push in any direction. Bro, in Euro USD, what daily bias do we have? On Euro USD, we are bearish. So we took out all these highs. We need to come back to this and bounce. Unless we validate this fair value gap right here, which would be the end of today, then we could look at targets on this one. The 4 hour also needs to kind of come down a little tiny bit as well. You know, we've pushed up. We need to come back to this and bounce, or this one down here that's unmitigated. So we're bearish on EU at the moment. We need a retracement on the daily. GBP CAD. Now GBP CAD, what's the bias here? So there is a fair value gap being pretty nicely respected here. So that's bearish, especially after taking these lows, respecting this, retracing up. Bearish. Bearish here as well. Took out these highs. Need to come back to fill this fair value gap right here. 1 hour. IFEG, but a technical close. Don't know if anyone's seeing that here. IFEG, but a technical close. And then swept the lows, need to retrace. If we get an IFEG, we could take that, you know, to the sell down here. If we get an IFEG here, we could take a sell. We'll set an alert. Actually, there's no point really, is there? If price comes back down to here, we'll set an alert and see what it looks like. So potentially a setup on GC. GJ is very, very choppy here. You can see this lack of conviction, right? If we had conviction, we would just push straight down, right? We wouldn't have much issue. We'd have smaller wicks, right? Smaller wicks and bigger bodies consistently in the right direction as well. Here we've got long wicks, smaller bodies, right? Which shows a lack of conviction. There's lots of indecision going on, right? Do you trade London or just New York? I trade both. I only live stream New York, but in the actual fast track trading group, in the private Discord group, we trade London as well. We trade all day up until like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., right? Have you ever used Aqua Funded? No. Why do you choose to do New York session and not London? Why? Well, I do trade both, but the reason I stream New York is just because, like, London session is like 8 a.m. That's when I'd have to do the stream. London Open is like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And I cannot be asked getting up at that time every single day. Right? That's like, you know, they might as well just still be in a 9 to 5. So that's why. That's honestly, that's the truth as to why I don't stream London session, is because I simply cannot be asked. But I do trade it. Like when I'm up, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I will look at it. And if there's a trade there, I will take that. We got a lot of that in Cyprus because I was 2 hours ahead. I was up at like 12, which was 10 here. So I was able to trade London properly. But yeah, that's why. They take $5 per lot commission. Yeah, standard though, really. We're the prop firm anyway. Is that who you're funded, or is that who you're going with the funded challenge with, Tony? Aqua funded. Why did you go with them? Were they just cheaper or something? Yeah, 40% off. Took a one step 50k just to full send for fun. 500 up. I mean, fair play. If you want a full sender, why not? See the lack of conviction here. This is why we don't take trades on no news days. Like it's not going wrong, nor is it going right. It's just kind of just going sideways. Like there's no conviction in the direction of the market here. See, we pushed up, didn't form an IFE, didn't form a fair value gap though. That's annoying. What's going on financial juice? Nothing. See how messy the 1 minute gets. Would that have been a good trade on a news day? Yeah, probably. Maybe the size of the IFEG would have put me off a little bit, but if I'm trying to be as honest as possible without hindsight bias, yes, probably. If I'm trying to be honest, that tiny fair value gap might have put me off a bit. But other than that, I don't think there's really an issue. The 4 hour needs to retrace. The 1 hour needs to retrace. But see the lack of conviction. Like when I take my trades, I like to see it do this, right? I don't like seeing it go sideways like it is now. I like to see it either go right to my stop loss and fair play, just took me straight out, or go straight to my take profit. I don't like dancing around like this kind of thing, right? I don't like to see that. It just puts me off completely. I like to see conviction in my trades. I like to see the market actually be right rather than just right by chance that it's decided to consolidate first and then do that. Because this kind of invalidates the whole thing. especially when you look at the fact that we took liquidity out here. If we're going to inverse this now, we may as well just close the trade here, right? And this is why I don't trade no news days, because of the lack of conviction. As I said, I like to see it go straight to my stop loss or straight to my take profit. I don't like to see it mess around first. And most of the trades I take, they tend to just go straight to my take profit anyway. Like, let's see if we got any good examples here. Like this trade went straight to my take profit. We didn't mess around here and then push up or anything. Went straight to my take profit. The trade before that went straight down where I took profits, right? The trade before that one went straight down. We didn't mess around or anything like that. This one here, we did mess around a little tiny bit, I think. I don't know why the chart isn't on that one. This one, the break-even trade, we messed around a bit, but you can see we went even here. We had that conviction still. We still had the conviction. You can see the size of the wicks and the size of the bodies compared to the wicks. If you look at these candles here and then look at these candles right here, you can see there is a massive lack of conviction in today's candles, which is going sideways, right? Whereas on here, there was conviction. Even though it was kind of consolidating still, we had conviction because we would push straight down, longer wicks, then kind of get a bit indecisive, push straight up, push straight down after taking liquidity, invest this, then come take the lows, start chilling. But even in our entry, right? If you look at our entry, we have our entry and we go straight down. You know, we push down, retrace, and then push straight back down again. We don't start just this sideways thing, right? We just go straight in one direction, and that's just in a break-even trade as well. Like if we look at all of these, you can see this one we closed break-even because there was a lack of conviction. But this one, again, I guess we kind of messed around a little tiny bit here first. But typically, I don't get that in my trades, right? We push straight up. You know, and like almost all my entries, we push straight up off of it. We don't mess around first. So when I see, you know, that kind of slow convictionless, I guess you could say, something like this, puts me off a little bit. And I don't like trading like that. Most of my trades have conviction, right? Now this looks like it's going up. If we do get a close above here, you know, you can look at closing the trade earlier. We do have no bottom wick, so we could end up flipping and closing back inside the range. We also just took a high out, so we need to retrace anyway. GC just set off an alert 3 minutes ago. Looks like it's doing its thing. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, like, because as I said, we're not going to be trading today. Like, I'm not going to be actually taking any trades. If you guys have any questions, ask them now, and I'll answer all of them. Like, this trade, this isn't a bad trade. Just because it's going to our stop loss now, it doesn't mean that we were incorrect. Like, we still had, like, this is the thing. This is why we need conviction in the market. This is why we need that, because our entry is all designed to get a strong push. ERL and IRL is two very simple things, right? It's liquidity and fair value gaps, highs and lows, right? So when we take a high out, we need to then retrace. When we take a low, we need to retrace. Here you can see we have valid ERL and IRL. We take out these highs, retrace back to this small imbalance, which was what we inversed. because we inverse that, that's why we use it for our entry point. Because we inverse that, we know price has got to at least go to the next form of liquidity, right? And we pair that with volatility or volume, conviction, a strong bias, and the fact that we haven't had a big move in a while to actually try and catch a big move. But when there's no conviction, we don't get a big move. We did our job, which was the IFG's job to come to the other side of the liquidity and take that, which we did. We then needed to retrace, which happened, right? And we got the retracement, but now we seem to inverse that and just continued up and took out this liquidity here as well, to be fair. There's just a complete lack of conviction in this. And it's even happening now. Even whilst it goes against us, it's struggling to go against us, right? In your journal, I see a trade, but I don't see the accumulation. Can you explain it, bro? Which trade is that? If you give me the sell name, the sell and number, we can go through that together. Do you also consider daily bias if they are in line with your analysis and hold the position longer than PDH, PDL, or just the first liquidity level? If the daily bias isn't, like, this is the thing, with the AMD, you can get an AMD that just plays out to the other side of the range, even if it goes against the bias. But we pair it with a bias to get the right move. And I only trade with the bias because it's just what I've found is when it goes against me, it's because it's going against the bias, going against the high time frame drawn liquidity. So I always trade with the high time frame drawn liquidity because 90% of the trades that I take or used to take that lost were against the DOL. So I use the high time frame drawn liquidity, I use the IFEG, I use the AMD to try and call, and the conviction, to call a big move, okay? And we manage on the way down. So this would be my full TP, which would be a big move down. But on our way to do that, I take partials here, I take partials here, you know, I take partials of the liquidity all the way down there. So I don't just target the first liquidity level. If I did that, I would have targeted right here and then just lost the trade. But the IFEG itself, on its own, just the IFEG, tells us we need to go to the next liquidity zone. I then pair that with the daily bias, with AMD, with the volume time, to kind of anticipate a big move is on the way, pair it with the IFEG, and go, okay, a big move down is on the way, right? If we have a bearish bias, if we've manipulated up, if we've got an IFEG telling us we're going to go down, they're all key confluences for a move down. If we're trading the right time, the right price action, we will then definitely, 90% of the time, get a nice move down, right? So I don't consider daily bias if it's like if they align with my analysis. I only ever trade if them two align, my analysis and my daily bias, which are two separate things. And then when I do trade, I hold it. I don't just target I don't target previous day highs or previous day lows, or the first liquidity level. I target the swing level. So what was actually the start of this move up here? You know, this one. Guess you could argue this was the swing low down here, right? Well, that's just way out of reach. We have a higher time frame for value gaps and stuff like that. So I just go for a low, you know, based on the context around that as well. So if it's not too far away, if it's, you know, aligns with a high time frame for value gap, if it aligns where the bias may change, yeah, I'll take that, right? You can even see a lack of conviction here. Like, we literally just went against ourselves and struggled to do that. It looks like we have a bit of conviction in this candle, though. We'll see how it closes. But, yeah, so with my take profit, it's like a nice, strong liquidity zone based on the context around the trade. Like, for example, here, we're targeting this low because it aligns with this 4-hour imbalance. So if we came down to this low, not only is it a 1-hour low, but it's also when we start coming into a 4-hour fair value gap where the bias may start to change and become bullish again, right? Or consolidate. But, yeah, so I don't really use previous day lows or the first liquidity zone. I pair them both to catch a big move and the bias. It is the trade 83. Trade 83, that's more recent, isn't it? That's literally the most recent one. So with this, right, I think this was AMD, Rodrigo. So we had AMD on the 1 minute here. I think I can walk you through the actual trade on from the stream that it was on. which was on Friday. Well, there was AMD.
I'm not here just to give you trading signals and to send you on your way. If you want to just take the signals, that's amazing. We'll welcome you with like...
That was Friday, right? 13th. Or was it the 11th? Yeah, it's the 11th. So it's Thursday. If you're someone who drinks a lot of caffeine. So you see the AMD here, right? You see the accumulation here on this chart. Then we push down, have that manipulation, and then we're looking at inversing this value gap right here. That was the initial entry we were looking for, Rodrigo. So we were using this AMD. Basically, right, it even started with this. So we had a 15-minute accumulation right here, pushed down, then had a 5-minute accumulation. And we were looking to get in on this and just try and catch it to the other side of the range, basically to the accumulation range, right? This is what we were looking for. But this candle closed too high up for us to actually take the trade, as you can see here. It closes way too high up for the trade to be worth it. So what we do is we go down to the 1 minute, as you can see right here. See that we haven't took the liquidity out yet, so we still need to continue up to that on the 5. But see that we've took out these highs on the 1 minute. So we got the 5-minute entry, but the risk to reward ratio is too low. So we got the IFEG, which is still valid. We got the AMD, we got the bias, we got the target, we got everything which is still valid. But the risk to reward ratio is way too low. So we drop down a time frame, wait for the 1 minute to using ERL and IRL. We use 1 minute highs to the fair value gap, which is what happened here. We took out these highs to the left hand side at the bottom of that move up. Took out those, retraced back to this fair value gap right here. And then still negative R. It's still a negative R.
I dare you to let me build
Ads. So see, we come back to this, and then I say it here. If we tap into this, I'm going to get in now. Right, so we'd lose like if we get in here and we inverse it, we would lose like 0.1. That's what we're going to do, okay? That's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to get in if price can just tap down a little bit further, right? There. Now we're in. If we close below, we're going to get out the trade. So what we did there is we still had the valid entry because we hadn't took this high. If we took this high at the top first, then retraced, I wouldn't look to take this entry because we wouldn't still have that IFEG confluence. We wouldn't still have that AMD confluence. So we got that still valid. All we're doing now is just refining the entry to get a slightly higher risk to reward ratio, which I don't do often. And the only reason I did that is because 1, I wanted to take a trade, and 2, it was a great opportunity. But mainly 3 is because the risk to reward ratio on that trade was way too low. We were waiting for ages for that. So I said, if we tap into here, again, tap into this level, I will enter right here. And if we inverse this using ERL and IRL, we know we've got to at least come down to here. So I said, if we inverse this fair value gap right now, I will close the trade at like 0.1 loss. But we still had AMD, we still had the IFVG. We just refined the entry to get a slightly higher risk to reward ratio, right? So we did that. We got in here. We were seeing how price would react. And then the next candle, we push straight up, right? Push straight up. And the one after that again, I think we just pushed straight up here. There you go, take out that high. So we journal the trade, manage the trade, and that's the trade you're seeing now. Okay, and then obviously we do eventually go and get a full TP out here, I think. There we go. Full TP. So that's the trade there, Rodrigo. That's how it was AMD and stuff like that. Oh, wow. We're completely pushing down here on GJ at the 5. Is anyone in this trade? Is anyone in this? Just demo. Noise. Break even. And the magnet. You're in it? A few people are in this. Wow. Yeah, I'd definitely look at like being break even or something soon. Like paying. If we validate this for value gap, you can move your stop loss to above there at least, right? And then if we inverse it, you just get out. Just a massive lack of indirection. Yeah, that's true. And we've also took this low, so we would like automatically need to retrace back up to this for value gap anyway. So you may as well just close out now. But this is why I don't trade in the news days, guys. This is why I don't do it. It's just not worth it at all. It is bouncing off a fair value gap. Which one? This one that we drawn out before. Yeah, see how it inverses it, guys? Like, see how we did actually inverse it, which means we then need to come and take out the high, which we did, and then we just continue straight back down. That's kind of like, we pair this kind of entry with the right bias, with conviction, with the right price, with the right time, to catch a big move. To the left more. What, this one? This one's in, like, this, you don't even need to be looking at this one paying. This one's completely like irrelevant. We've already mitigated it, right? We already done our thing. You know, this was literally 2 hours ago that this formed. This isn't valid now. It doesn't. No, it's invalid. We don't use that. I think it's just more of a coincidence than anything. You know, I think the real reason we're kind of bouncing up and down here is because of these lows. Plus also just the indecision in the day at all. Gold looks good for buys on the 1 minute. The 1 minute is a bit of a push. We are looking for sells here. The bias is bearish here, so we're just going to completely ignore that. Anyway. Yeah. Are you using? Is this what indicator are you using, Payne? Are you using one that draws out fair value gaps for you, or are you using one that draws out high probability fair value gaps for you? What? Still draining my ass to spot them, so I had to put it on just in case I miss any. Pain. I think that makes sense, but it's not that. It wouldn't take you that long to pick it up with fair value gaps. Like it'll take you like a few days. It's definitely better to get into the habit of drawing them, but I mean, whatever works for you, I guess. Is your TP at 4 hour fair value gap on GBP JPY potentially looking for buys after a sweep? 639, 187. 639 kind of makes sense. We look to manage the trade here. My target isn't inside of 4 hour fair value gap. Well, it's not the. Usually, if we were targeting the fair value gap, we would target this bit, which is the bottom half or the halfway line, right? But we're not. We're using this low right here, which is a 1 hour low, which kind of correlates. It's like near enough at that fair value gap, so I'll just take profits here, especially considering it is a big move down anyway. Like we'd be getting like what 2.3 R. So indecisive this. Josh, on USD Swiss franc, the way on the 15 we can see inverted fair value gap, but on the 1 hour it's slap in the middle of another. How would you normally look to enter that? Wait until it's inversed the full 1 hour. Yes, wait until it's inversed the full 1 hour. Full 1 hour. Because if we've got this inversed, right? We'll still need to continue down to here. And once we continue to here, we could have all those IFEGs. But this is the thing, because there's so many, remember what I say to do when there's like 3 of them back to back? You got one here, and one here. So you go up a time frame, so you go from the 30 minute, you can see that there's 2 here, then you go to the 1 hour, till there's just 1, then there's 1 here, so then you just use that one, right? Like up the stream if you haven't already, guys. Like up the stream. This is... See how boring this is, right? See how boring this is? Exactly, Mike. This is why we don't trade no news days, guys. This is why we don't trade them. I never used to stream them until recently. I decided, why not just stream them? And we can sit here and I can prove to you guys how terrible it is to trade these kind of days. So many people here and just 2 likes. 2 likes? No way. Oh no, it's 30. I'm out now, break even. Yeah, I think I'd probably be out this trade too. This is just an absolute piss take, to be honest. We took the lows, so it's supposed to do this, but it's just too much. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense to retrace up because we took the lows, but this is why we want to trade with conviction and with a bit more direction, because sometimes we will just continue straight down, even though we took out a low. We'll just continue straight down to this area. But yeah, I think what we'll do then, guys, you know, we've been here an hour now. We've seen how this has played out poorly, obviously. So close the trade if you really want to, you know. Close the trade. If you really want to hold, you can, but it might not work out. Very, very indecisive. We're going to call it a day here. Tomorrow is a tradable day again. Okay, so tomorrow we can trade properly. It's a beautiful day tomorrow. We got pre-London and pre-New York news here, GBP and Canadian CPI. CPI is usually like really big, but it's for Canada, so it doesn't really matter too much, right? So with that, tomorrow's a beautiful day for trading. Nothing too major, but we're still going to have this nice little piece of volume, a bit more conviction, as you guys will see if you compare today's stream with tomorrow's stream. But either way, what I want to do, guys, very, very quickly, whilst you were all here, just give me 1 sec, and I'll show you guys what I want you to do. So right, if you go into the description, you should see a link for next stream. Go down into the description, click that link, and then click the bell once this stream ends. So after this stream finishes, go down there, click the bell, and then like that stream, and you'll get notified exactly when I go live tomorrow. But as I said, tomorrow is a tradable day, so we can take a trade tomorrow. We haven't lost a trade in over 14 trades. We have an 81% win rate, an average of 1.7. We've made 34% in the last 4 months, taking 1 month off for a break. So we've made 3%, we've made 11% a month, basically, on average, right? We haven't lost a trade in over 2 weeks. We're up 4% so far this month. If you want to catch tomorrow's stream, just go to the link in the description, click the bell, click the like button, you'll get notified exactly when I go live. But that's it from me, guys. You know, I just wanted to go live today to kind of show you guys why I don't trade no news days, because they don't really ever work out how you think they will, right? So be careful of no news days. If you want to track what news is getting out, you know where to go. Forex Factory. I'm not affiliated with them. Everyone uses them. There's literally 40k people on. Usually like 100, but the reason there's only 40k is because no one trades no news days, right? So be very, very careful with no news days. Just no red folder news is a no news day, right? Tomorrow we have a bit more. Picks up on Wednesday. But we got a similar day on Friday as well. But as I was saying, tomorrow's a tradable day, so we should be able to take some fat dubs, juicy wins, right? We'll see how it all goes, but yeah. Thanks, Josh. Find it really helpful listening to you. Take care. Appreciate that, Sarah. I'm happy I can help. Thanks, Terry. Cheers, guys. That's it from me. We'll leave it here. Go click the link to the next stream now, and click the like button, click the bell on the next stream, which is in the link in the description, and you'll get notified exactly when I go live. But I'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully we can catch a few dubs. We haven't lost in over like 14 trades, almost 3 weeks. And yeah, that's it. Have a good rest of your day. If you do take any trades, it's probably going to go wrong, but also if you do take them, journal them. So if they do go wrong, you can see why, and you can actually build that track record. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thanks for your time. Make sure you join the free Discord if you haven't already. Like and subscribe, and make sure I see you in tomorrow's stream. That's it from me. Peace.